Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Master of Achievement podcast. Now, if you are someone who is currently building something, you are launching a business, you have a side project, you want to transition into something different, you're currently in corporate and you're going, hey, I actually want to do something a little bit more in my life, but you don't know what that is. Or you have an idea and you're wanting to launch it. This episode is for you. This episode is a reminder. This is something that I tell all my clients. This is something that I tell myself. Because when we're starting out and launching something, it can be really scary. It can feel like we're the only person who has this particular idea, this particular solution, and it's really easy for us to fall into the trap of looking around and seeing what everybody else is doing, especially when we look towards people who have made it, what we think has made it, and we try and copy their framework or we copy the way they do things because if they've succeeded and you copy the way they've done it, surely that means that you'll succeed and you should be able to have some kind of that success as well. But what I want to tell you is if you're in this point in time where you're launching your business or you've launched your business, you're out there networking like crazy. You're going to all the networking events. You are meeting so many people. You're constantly pitching your ideas. You're putting so many proposals in and you're constantly getting rejected. First of all, I feel you. You probably are feeling so disheartened. You're questioning yourself. You're like, why am I doing this? Like, when is the money going to come in? When am I going to feel successful? When is there going to be some kind of consistency? You're questioning yourself. You're asking and you're doubting. You're doubting whether what you want to do and how you want to do it is going to succeed or not. And I want to tell you that right now, I know it feels really, really hard and it feels like no one understands what you're doing or it feels like that. It feels like you don't know where the next opportunity is going to come. You're constantly putting yourself out there and it's becoming emotionally draining. You're like, why am I doing any of this? Why can't I just be happy with a simple 9 to 5 job, just get my paycheck and go to sleep? Why do I have to choose this really hard path? Firstly, you have had this download and you've chosen this path for a reason. And I know it's freaking hard. I know that it's really hard. And I know that you're really questioning yourself. But you have been given this download. There is a reason why you cannot settle for normal. There is a reason why you cannot be in a normal environment for a reason. You're special. You are an anomaly. Own that because there is something bigger here that you need to do in this world and you need to embrace that. Secondly, in these moments where I feel like I'm constantly being rejected and I'm putting all these proposals in and nothing's really landing, and then you've got the stress of, oh my gosh, this bill's coming in. Oh my gosh, I need to make this much. I said that I was going to make this much, but I'm not making this much. And all these fears, all these doubts, all these questions, all this pressure starts rolling in. I want to remind you of something. You don't need 100 yeses. You don't need 100 people to understand what you're doing. But you need to constantly keep putting yourself out there and going through person by person, conversation by conversation, even if those conversations don't feel like they're really going anywhere, right? You still have to have those conversations because you never ever know what you're going to take out from that conversation that could open your door, open your mind, open your ideas to the next opportunity. I've had so many situations where I've gone into this conversation going, I don't know how this person is going to help me, but let's just have this conversation anyway. And they'll say a word or they'll talk about a project that they're currently working on, which I never even knew. And it opened my mind to a possibility of things that I didn't even know of. And then I get curious. I start researching on that. And then I realize, oh, actually, this somehow connects that moment or that information that they just said or that word they just said has been able to open my mind to another part of this world that somehow connects with what I'm doing. Right? But also, as you filter through and you constantly have conversations with these people, there is one person out there. There is one client. There is one opportunity that is yet to meet you, that is yet to cross paths with you. And this person, this client, this opportunity is going to understand your value, understand exactly why you do what you do and the value that you bring, and they don't question anything. That opportunity is waiting for you. That's something that actually happened to me this year. 3 months, I will say, 3 months, the last 3 months, I have been trying to land a corporate client for a very long time. 3 months, I have been catching up with for coffee catch-ups 4 times a week for the last 3 months. You do the maths. What's that? 4 times 4, 16 times 3, 40, 50 something. I don't know. You do the maths. But I've had a lot of conversations with people and businesses, and I've put in 10, 15 proposals. Some of them have landed, but with smaller scopes, and others haven't landed at all because they've said, Steph, you're too expensive, or this is not really something we want to invest in at this point in time. Or even in that moment, they're like, oh, okay, we don't really understand what you do. And there have been moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I articulate what I do? Maybe what I'm doing and trying to do is too complex. Maybe there's no space or there's no time or there's no place for what I'm trying to do. And the other day, I actually had a client who needed my help, needed my specific expertise. And this is something that I've always struggled with for the longest time, as you guys have heard in my previous episodes, is because I used to always think that I needed to specialize in something. But I always felt really guilty about being a generalist, like having so many different skills. I'm really good at branding, marketing, operations, systems, admin, project management, all of these things. And I never really specialized in anything. And that was something that I felt really, really guilty about. I was like, why can't I specialize in anything? Like, there's nothing that I'm like really, really particularly known for. And this person, this client, happened to need my particular set of varied skills in his business. And he said, and I remember like telling him my rate, and of course had a few fears like, oh, maybe this is too expensive. Like, how is this possible? Will he pay for it? You know, but also with that, you have to believe that you have so much value. You add so much value because you do. You add so much value to this person or this opportunity that you are worth that much. Right. And so I put out that number, and he actually responded back and he said, it's not even about the money. I know the value that you bring. Like, I'm happy to pay whatever the amount is because I know what you can do for me and the business. And in that point in time, at that very moment, I was like, wow, there are actually businesses and people out there who need your particular personality, your particular way of working, your particular level of experience, and all the experiences that have shaped you to have the experience you have today. All of your skills, all of your ways of thinking that make you so uniquely you. There is someone else out there who literally needs someone exactly like you to come in and grow their business or add value to their business or unlock that next level of their business. You just have to have enough resilience and patience to go through the list of people and opportunities and networking and events. You have to go through that list And we don't know how long or how short that list is, right? But you have to go through that list long enough so that you connect and meet with the right opportunity. And so if you are currently in this moment of life right now, in this moment of business, where you do feel like giving up, where you are questioning yourself, where you're going, why am I even doing any of this? Like, I don't know. I feel scared. I feel doubtful. I don't know if it's worth it. I just want you for 1 week, to move and to act and to think as if there is someone out there that you're going to meet that week. You just don't know when during the week, but for that week, you're going to cross paths with them. How would you act? How would you show up in every meeting, in every situation? Hey, quick moment before we continue. If this episode is really landing and resonating with you and you realize that you're ready to take that next level, this is your sign. I only take 5 one-on-one coaching clients at a time, and the waiting list for March 2026 is open right now. If you're tired of feeling stuck and disconnected and unfulfilled with your life, and there's so many goals and dreams and things that you want to achieve, if you feel like you're stuck in the same patterns and constantly questioning and doubting yourself and you're sick of it, you're over it, you want to change, you want to rebuild momentum so that you can have the life, the career, the business, the mindset, the leadership that you deserve, this is your sign. You can join the waiting list at www.stephanienguyen.com.au or click on the link in the show notes below to apply. All right, let's get back to the episode. What are the actions that you're going to take that day? If you know that very week you're going to meet your perfect client that's going to unlock that next level in your business, because I promise you they're out there. You just have to have that mental resilience and stay in it for long enough to meet that person. That person is out there. They are waiting for you. They're literally sitting there. Like, if you think about it, there is someone out there going, oh my gosh, I need someone like you who has your experience, your personality, your way of working. Where are they? I don't know where to meet them. And you're sitting there going, where is this client that appreciates exactly what I'm doing and is happy to pay for this? And we can collaborate and create magic together, because they're out there. I promise you. So for the next week, move, act, think as if that very week you're going to meet that perfect client and see what happens. You may or may not meet the client, right? But I just want you to actually, and that's not even the point of whether you do meet or you don't meet that client, but if you do, incredible. But it's more about how you felt when you were existing and acting and moving as if you were going to meet that perfect client that week. Because if you can put yourself in that state for 1 week, you can replicate that for the next week, for the week after, for the very week after. Like, what actions, what tasks, how would you show up online? How would you show up in your business? What things would you do if you knew that you were going to meet your perfect client that week? And remember this, the last takeaway, you do not need 100 yeses. You just need that one perfect yes.